Okay, I've got Brooks and Daniel Bard. Daniel Bard is the setup guy for the Red Sox, and he throws the ball about 98 to 100 miles an hour, so he's a pretty good example to look at. And first thing that I want to talk about is the moving towards the catcher here, a little bit of weight shift before we break our hands. So if we start with Brooks and we go frame by frame, that's the first thing that we're going to check. And so we do have, it looks like we are going forward before we're breaking our hands here, which is good. He's starting to break his hands low, and at that point, and if we go and look at Bard, let's see if we can move him forward just a little bit. Boom, right there. We've got weight shift, which is this back hip going beyond the front foot before we break our hands. Brooks right now is a little bit closed. Probably want his shoulders a little bit more open. The hip looks good though. And continue to move forward. Right there, he could probably hold on to the ball a little bit longer, but we're seeing this wide sweep of this front foot, and you're going to see that it almost hits this line when that back foot is more in the center of those two white lines. So we're going to be in pretty good shape up through here. The only thing we're going to look at is this back knee. We're already starting to rotate here. You'll see this line in his leg there, and if we show on Daniel Bard, we're going to see a little bit more of a straight line right there. So the other thing is I want Brooks to, we're going to work on putting the ball down in this area here. I don't know what that symbol is, but anyhow, that's about where the ball needs to be, more down towards the knee. And on Bard, we're going to see this more of a straight line between the back foot and the hip there. Okay, clear that out, clear that out. And again, this is where we see our front foot landing closer to that line. So we're a little too closed right now. Other than that, okay, except for this back knee. And we want a little bit more exaggeration on this front shoulder up, back shoulder down, which will make the ball get lower here. The next thing we're going to look at is really this front knee. And you're going to see that Brooks' front knee is going to go beyond his heel, and that's probably the biggest thing that I see in looking at this. So once he's planted here, that knee cannot go forward anymore, or else you don't get enough bracing out of that hip and out of that leg. And what you're going to see on Bard is that knee never goes beyond the heel. Brooks and I talked about this yesterday, where we're going to look for aiming our heel out further so that we get a stride closer to this area out in there, because Brooks is close to 5 foot, and we want our stride length to be 100% of our body length, if not a little bit more. A lot of the pros are able to get 110, 115%. So if they're 6 foot 4 inches like Daniel Bard is here, they're stretching out 6 foot 8 type distances. And Tim Lincecum with the Giants, he actually stretches out. I think he's like 5'10", which would mean that he was somewhere around 72 inches at the most, and he's out at like 85. So he's like 130% of his body height in his stride. So let's go frame by frame again on Brooks. And that's where we start to see that front knee creeping out beyond the heel. And if we continue through it, we see that front knee continue to drift. So he's not getting enough bracing right through there. And if we go to barred, if I can get it working right through there, you see that that foot is there and that front knee never glides beyond the front heel. And once he hits about in this area, that leg's going to brace up and go to straight, which allows his body to come through the pitch more here. And that angle starts to become looking a lot better. Go back to Brooks and we're going to see that front knee continue to drift right there. So he doesn't get as much velocity behind the ball because he's got nothing to brace up against. Extending that stride will help, but that's really what I'm going to be looking for the most part. So to keep it from being too boring, let's stop it here and we'll just continue to look at it over time.